Hey guys, it's the lock-picking patrolman. I don't know if anybody's here right now, but I'm going to hang out for just a few minutes. Actually, what I'm going to do is go and grab a charging cable because I forgot that. So while you guys tune in, I will be right back. Kind of have to jerry-rig something, I believe. But anyway, give me just a few, and I'll be right back with you for live stream Saturday. Hello, Jean-Marie Quillin from France. Awesome to see you here. Alpha Centauri, good to have you here from Germany. Rune, alrighty. Nice to see you here as well. Lockpicking's gal, good to see you. If you would give me just a minute, I've got to set up my charging cable for my phone, so that we can try to get through this. Kind of got to move some stuff around here. If something funky does start to happen with the video again this week, I apologize. I looked and I was not able to find a better workaround for everything that I've got going on. Really just, honestly, I have not had the time to, with buying the new house and everything. So, hopefully this will work. If I do lose y'all, then I will probably just make a regular video. But anyway, like I said, give me just a second here to run a charging cable. I apologize for the camera bouncing around. Alright, now we're plugged in. We got some battery power. Is everybody still there? Can y'all still see me, hear me, all that good stuff? So I adjusted a few other things and turned off everything connected to the internet here in the house, so hopefully my router will go through. According to the app, it says that I'm live and says that it's optimal. Hey, Swindella. Alrighty, Rune, I appreciate that. Everything's fine. Swindella, loud and clear. Awesome. Alright, so folks, I hope that everybody's having a great weekend, and hope that you know, everybody's doing all right and everything's good. Here where I live, we're actually under a tornado warning right now, but it's for the eastern part of the county, and I live in the western part. So there's no real danger about that. You can kind of see through the window here. The sun's trying to peek through. I've got a couple things that I wanted to talk about today. Just kind of go over a little bit. But the first thing is the reason why, I really wanted to make this video today. And that is because this coming Wednesday is when I actually close on the new house. And I'm very excited about that. But I'm going to spend at least the next 2 weeks moving between work and weekends and the Easter weekend. I'll have 3 days over Easter weekend to really move a majority of stuff. And then I don't have to be completely out of my apartment that I'm in now until the 1st of May. So hopefully that will, give me enough time. I need to start packing. In fact, I really need to be packing right now, but I like you guys a lot better than I like packing, so that's why I'm here. Anyway, yeah, not much really going on as far as locks this past week. I did, this past Wednesday morning, I did the final inspection and walkthrough of the house, and finally, before then, I had not been able to go into the shop that's located behind the house, which, yes, I promise, I will give a tour of that once I get moved in. But the shop is really, really cool, and I posted on Twitter the other morning that it has pegboard mounted to a couple walls, and I'm excited about that because the actual pegs for the pegboard are really cheap on eBay, and that would be a great place to hang keys and key blanks and other stuff like that. So I'm excited about that. That whole shop is actually almost worth the price of admission for the house. But anyway, so I'm really excited about that. And like I said, I hope to get the shop set up. Let's see, earlier this morning, lock-picking lawyer posted a video showing how he could pick these guys right here with a comb pick, the Master 141Ds. Yeah, these are pretty fast. I found one that picks faster though. That's this little guy. And when you hear the term single pin picking, this guy actually really lives up to it because all you have to do is pick pin 1. It's pretty awesome. Just yeah, just tension however you feel like and lift pin 1, and that's it. Pretty cool. There are actually when I was doing the tour of the house the other day, the current residents have some master locks that are a little bit bigger than these. I don't know the model number, but they're like the slightly wider and slightly taller version of this on the roll-up door for the shed, and then also the doors for the mower shed. So those are going to be changed out, along with all the other locks. Yes, Swindler, it really is a single pin pick. But no, I plan on doing videos on how I swap out the locks that are there. Right now, the main deadbolts for the house are Quickset Smart Key. So there's not going to be much excitement with that. I know how to do it once once the house is mine and I have the keys for it, I'll go and change it. I've got some pre-cut keys that I'm going to use. Probably just pick a random pair and key them to that. And then in the future, I plan on switching everything over probably to Schlage, just because, the cost on it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I have to install one deadbolt on one of the 2 back doors, so I'll probably try to make a video on that. So anyway, I guess the the big topic that I wanted to talk about today was or this morning while I was at work, I saw a post on Reddit, on the lockpicking Reddit sub, and the title was "Burglars Don't Pick Locks and Know Nothing About Them," or something very close to that. And then debate. Wanting a debate amongst lock sporters on how often burglars actually pick locks. And that's a subject that's come up, quite a bit. And when I first got into this hobby of lock sport, I had coworkers, fellow police officers ask me, say, well, if you're doing that, aren't you teaching the criminals how to pick locks? And I said, no, the ones that are going to pick a lock already know how. And so kind of what I wanted to talk about was the fact that, criminals, okay, let's back up. Let's go to what the original statement was on Reddit. And it said, burglars don't pick locks. Well, here where I am, burglary and breaking and entering are actually two separate crimes. Burglary is when there are occupants inside of a residence and the crime occurs during the hours of darkness. Breaking and entering is any other time or during the nighttime if there's nobody home. So, little technicality there. For the purpose of this discussion, I'll say, it's the same thing. Burglary and breaking and entering, that's the same thing. And, I don't think that I've ever seen a case of breaking and entering or burglary where the lock was picked. I've never been on a call like that before. And the reason why I say that, I had this huge, several paragraph long reply to that discussion, and I decided, no, it would be easier just to kind of talk about it, and I might post that reply on Reddit. But anyway, when a criminal is looking to break into a residence to steal things, and notice I said residence, so we're talking about a house or apartment. They're looking to get in as quickly as possible and as covertly as possible. And while us lock sporters think of, covertly, well, yeah, we can sit here and we can rake open a master lock, we can take a master lock like this, and if this is all that's stopping a thief from getting in to, steal your lawnmower, we can go in and pick it open in just a matter of seconds. I'll grab my other pick here. But, we can open master locks very quickly. We can open quick sets, quickly as well. Rake them open, rock them open, whatever. But the thing is, we practice. And not only do we practice, but we sit here in, at our workbenches comfortably, and we can hold the lock however, we can hold our picks however. Of course, this one's being camera shy. We can do, basically however we want to, comfortably from, our own homes, and we can get into all of these locks here. Like I just showed you with the master lock, the single pin picking, we can get into it quite easily, and we sit back and say, well, that's not a good lock. Well, typically no. For pick resistance, master locks and quick sets are not good locks. And Here, I'm going to make a fool of myself with this daggone master lock that normally opens for me in about 2 seconds. Anyway. Yeah. Mad Hatter. Hello. But, you know, if you picked any locks, you know, there we go. And I think I hit 2 pins in there. But, you know, we can get into locks quickly. But guess what? It's easier because we can make it even easier on ourselves. We can put them in a vise. And a long time ago, over a year ago, I saw a video by another lock sporter who's really, really a great guy. And I'm not going to, you know, call his name out or anything. And, you know, or even hint at the video or anything like that, other than the fact that it was a American lock, an American lock style padlock, and he picked it open very quickly. It had, you know, the security pins in it, and with spools and serrated spools and all that good stuff, and he still picked it open in less than a minute. And he's a very, very skilled picker. But I mentioned down in the comments of that video that, you know, it was, hey, Lockmania, I mentioned down in the comments of his video that it was still a good lock. You know, I've got one, I've got this ace lock right here. Hey, helpful lock picker. But this ace padlock, you know, it takes a little bit to pick into it. Yes, it does. But what my statement in the comment to his video was that as far as, you know, being a lock to use, it would be great because it's a heavy body, you know, great solid steel body, heavy shackle, all that good stuff. And he said, his comment was, well, I still wouldn't use it because I can pick it in less than a minute. Well, he picked it in a vise. He didn't pick it like this. He didn't pick it holding it with the keyway or the pin side down, you know, or sideways, or where you had to reach up or reach way down. Yeah, Rune, you're exactly right. In the field, locks are full of dirt and upside down, stuck behind something. You know, you might get a, you know, you might see this right here. It's a Schlage C keyway, key and knob, key and lever cylinder. And, you know, you might see that in the door and say, oh, well, I picked one of those in, you know, like 5 seconds sitting there in my bench with a trusty little kick holder in my vise. Well, what are you going to do when it's turned like that? Or like that? Or like that? Or when it's got grime in there? Or you don't know the bitting on it, and the bitting turns out to be something like this, you know? That's a wicked bitting right there to go in this lock. So, to round it back out to what I was saying, you know, burglars know about locks. They know about them. They know about picking them and defeating them. They know that a master lock can be defeated fairly easily by picking. They know they can get into cars by using jiggler keys. You know, I've opened several police cars with jiggler keys in recent days. And, you know, that knowledge is out there, but for a burglar trying to get into a residence, they're still not going to take the time because they know they could wind up with a bitting like this or a lock that's turned upside down and they've only practiced with it right side up. They know that their hand's going to get tired and it's going to take them a few minutes if they have to kind of bend over backwards or, you know, reach way down or way up to grab this lock, which, you know, this lock weighs a good 2 pounds or so almost, or, well, 1 pound probably. But, you know, it's a chunky lock. And yes, Rune, a rock can break most windows, and that's how thieves and burglars are going to get in. They're going to go for the path of least resistance. And one of the replies to that Reddit conversation was that, kicking in a door makes an awful lot of noise and would alert the neighbors. Well, if you ride through a neighborhood a few times in a week and see that most of the neighbors all leave for work and school at the same time in the morning, then you know that they're gone, and you can force a door without much noise. I know I've had to do it, in the line of duty before, and it didn't make a whole lot of noise. Let's see. Let me look at the comments real quick. Lockmania, I know what you mean. I have a friend that got 14 lockers with Ruco, 500 cylinders on and no keys. Picked them all and rekeyed them. All two, not even close to sitting at the table. Exactly. I helped out a colleague of mine a while back who needed, long story short, the one and only key to a secure storage closet had gotten locked inside. And, he knows me, knows what I do, and he said, can you please come by the office and help? And I did. And it was a Schlage CQA, and it was mounted like this in the knob. And unfortunately, though, to get to it, the best way to get my arms to an angle that I could pick comfortably from, I had to rest my left arm on top of a little mini fridge that was right next to it. So you can't sit down in a chair in front of it at the right angle, and adjust it this way or up that way, or, no, is how it is. Let's see, Mad Hatter, consider myself a half-decent picker for many reasons. I've never been able to pick a lock on site. It certainly isn't easy. Yes. I mean, one of the most embarrassing things I've ever had happen to me was when it was about a year and a half ago now, I think, and I was actually in a car wreck while I was working, and my patrol car was totaled. I was really, really mad about that. It was a Crown Vic, and I love that Crown Vic patrol car. And so it was all the way down in the city where I was working. I got a ride back, to headquarters, took a spare vehicle from there all the way out to my house. And of course, when I walk up to my front door, I realized that I'd left my house keys in the patrol car all the way down in Charlotte. And so I pulled out my trusty pick set, which is always in my pocket. And, I went to pick the lock on my own front door, and the deadbolt picked open in about 15 seconds. It's a quick set lock. The knob, however, the lock cylinder was loose inside of the knob, which was also kind of jiggly, and it took about 20 minutes to get that open. Anyway, is just something going back to that, statement. Burglars know about that. Let's see, let me read the comments. Lockpicking Belfast. Tell me you're not saying we should all pick locks in the shower, gloves on, blindfolded. LOL, yep, back in the day, some did that. Or did do that. Yeah, I actually, if you guys remember from last year, if you're tuned into my channel last year, I did the B82 challenge, which was in memory of my friend Joey, who passed away 6 years ago now. And I wanted to do that this year, but with the house, I knew I wasn't going to be able to. So maybe later on in the year, I'll do something. Definitely next year, though, I will. But what an idea that I had for that challenge this year was to take a lock, any padlock, and, go outside, like right out there, go outside and chain it around a tree or, post on your deck or something like that, and try to pick it that way. Or put it in the freezer for, 5 hours and then pull it out and pick it. But anyway, let's see, Rune, locks are in a strange height, so you may have to slightly bend over and twist or bend over and with twisted arm. Yeah, exactly. And burglars, thieves, they don't want to take the time doing that, because think about it. Somebody who just walks up to a back door and leans against it, and then all of a sudden they're inside, that doesn't really arouse suspicion, because you might not know your neighbors that well. But if you see somebody crouched down in front of a doorknob, with their pick and their tension wrench and everything, trying to get in, then yeah, somebody's going to call the police. See, Lockmania, when I train picking locks, I sometimes take on a blindfold and gloves to get better. And Lockmania, I did the same thing after I watched Night Owl's video earlier this year when we had the bout of really, really cold weather. And, I picked a couple locks, wearing these guys. These are thick, heavy wool mittens. They're not, gloves that I would normally wear. But, I practiced it, and I couldn't pick a simple, well, not this guy. I couldn't pick a simple lock like this. And then, Swindler, question, if a burglar did pick a lock, how would you know? Absolutely excellent question, because I'd actually written about this in my reply on the Reddit post. I'm so glad you asked that. You got me back on track. The thing about it is, for a police officer to have a, let me walk you through, let me back up a second, walk you through what a police officer would do if they get a call for a breaking and entering. In other words, somebody comes home, they walk in their front door, unlock it, walk in the front door, and they realize that their giant screen TV is gone. And then they look around and realize a few other things are gone. They pick up their phone, they dial 911, or 112 or 999, depending on where you are. And they say, help, I've been robbed. Well, that's not a robbery. But anyway, the officer will come out, look, go through the place. The dispatcher will say, to the caller, before the officer arrives there, they'll say, don't touch anything, back out of the residence, wait for the officers by the street. The officer will get there, make sure that the burglar's not inside, which they're not going to be inside by that time. Just keeping it real with you. Every once in a blue moon, maybe. But anyway, the officer's going to go in, they're going to see where, an obvious point of entry, whether it's a broken window in the back, the back door's been kicked in, or something like that. That's what they're going to look for. If there's no signs of that, then the officer's going to turn and look at the resident and say, hey, did you lock the door this morning? Well, yeah, I think so, maybe. Okay, did you unlock it? Does anybody else have a key? Well, yeah, a couple people have keys. Okay, let's talk to them. The only way to identify that a lock has been picked for the purposes of law enforcement, if you can't see where that core is obviously, rotated, we know that the plug will be rotated to the side when a lock's been picked. If you don't see that as an officer, or you don't recognize that as an officer, then what you can do, you don't really know that the lock's been picked. But let's say that somewhere along the line, somebody says, hey, I think the lock was picked in this. Then what law enforcement would do is actually remove the lock, or more likely cut out the section of the door where the lock is mounted so as not to disturb any of the hardware, and ship it to a forensic locksmith. And yes, there's this whole really cool association of forensic locksmiths, and it's really, really hard to get into. You have to do a lot of studying, etc. But there are such a thing as forensic locksmiths. They analyze it and, take everything apart in a systematic way, very CSI, forensic files type way, and they look at it for tool marks for when the end of the steel pick hits the brass pins in the lock, all kinds of other stuff. Well, then they send all their findings back to the police department, And that is the only way that's the only way that in court, once you find a suspect, you can say, yes, this lock was picked, is to have a forensic locksmith examine it and report their findings. Otherwise, it really doesn't count. So unless if a police department has a forensic locksmith on staff, then they're going to have to spend all that money, and forensic locksmiths are not cheap because they make bank. I'm telling you guys, I wouldn't mind doing that as a retirement plan. So Swindler, that's how, that's really the only way out. There's not a good way for field officers to be able to know, unless if they're involved in lock sport. Jimmy Brooks, he's a fellow officer. He, I'm sure whenever he goes on a breaking and entering call, he looks at stuff and says, looks at the locks. I know because I do the same thing. I look at them. Anyway, so that's kind of why, the further in-depth investigation of that doesn't happen, because unfortunately, burglaries and breaking and enterings happen every day. It happens, all over the world every day. And there's just not enough resources to investigate every single one. Let me look through the comments here. Let's see. Lockmania. I've actually been able to pick a Asaruco 2 padlock with the gloves, blindfold, but it did take some time though. That's awesome. I only have one Ruco cylinder that Bill Bacardi gave me, and it's actually pretty easy to pick. Lock picking, Belfast, Lockmania, lock forensics is good. Yeah. Forensic locksmiths. Forensic locksmithing, there is a United States association of that. It's very interesting, and there are several academies that actually offer to law enforcement and locksmiths, actually will offer a catalog of media, like pictures of pins that they pick, brand new pins in a brand new lock. They'll pick them once and then pull the pins out, document the tool marks on them. Just very, very systematic. That way you can compare your evidence to their established library. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Special teams can cut the core open and look for pick marks, such as pick touch. Yeah, Maroon, that's what I was mentioning, is the tool marks. Forensic locksmiths are what we call them over here. But they can look for where the hard steel hits, the brass pins and stuff. Hey, Saspez, glad you're in here. So anyway, to boil down the too long didn't read answer to that Reddit topic that was posted today is, yes, I think criminals do know about lockpicking. However, I think they choose not to use it because they know they can force a door open or break in a window or force a window open. I mean, think about the locks on your windows of your houses, guys. I mean, here in my apartment, the locks are not good on the windows. When I get moved into my house, that's another thing I plan on reinforcing are the windows, not just the doors. But, do they know about lockpicking? Yes. Do some of them practice it? Of course. Do they use it when they're looking to break into a house or an apartment to steal a television or a computer or Xbox or PlayStation? Probably not, because they want to get in and get out. So, anyway, I will say, however, that I think lockpicking and lock bypass is used tremendously when talking about other crimes, such as people who are family members, people who are students at schools, I worked as a school resource officer for a while, and I would never discuss or show. I did discuss it, however, I would never show or teach the kids how to actually pick locks. And I think that does go on. Yes, they can see it on YouTube. Yes, they can see how we do it there. But, me actually working in uniform as a police officer, I didn't feel it was appropriate for me to show them or teach them exactly how to do that. Anyway, but more so people who live with other family members, and as sad as it is, yes, they steal from other family members. One of the biggest problems in the country, in the United States, and especially here in my home state of North Carolina, is opiate addiction. And that's pain pills, and people will go to extraordinary lengths to steal pain pills from other people. And yes, it doesn't matter to them if they're stealing from their own family or not. That's really, really, really sad. But you think about it, grandma or aunt, they've got a cabinet or a little lockbox that they keep all their medicine in. They get one of these locks because it's inexpensive and it fits the little metal box or the little lock box that they keep their pills in. Guys, we saw it at the very beginning of this. This is literally a single pin pick lock. Anybody can do that with, some improvised tools. Or they might have a little bit fancier one that has a cam lock like this. But we know how easy these guys are. Yeah, we can see we're right in there right now. So, yeah, unfortunately it goes on. And I think that a lot of instances where people report their pills missing, that's what it is. Family members and friends are coming in, and if they say, well, I keep them under lock and key, and I keep the key on a necklace around my neck 24/7, and somebody still stole them, it's very, very sad. But that's where I think that lock picking is used in crimes. And then I'll wrap this up with one last thing. Let's see. Let me check the comments real quick. Lock picking Belfast, weird stuff because we have picked our own locks. Yeah. Lock picking Belfast. We've all picked our own locks many times. Let's see. Rune. Sure, nobody will ever pick the 16-pin Ruco on my front door. Nope. Lock picking Belfast, I'm in agreement. Nope. When I pin up the doors on my new house that I'm getting, of course I'm not going to show the bitting, but I made this key myself. I came up with that bitting myself. So, yeah, the 6-pin Schlage, you can do a lot with it. Let's see. Somebody needs to come up with a locking medicine cabinet with a high security lock. And lock picking, Scal, there are some of those in some of the hospitals. In fact, I noticed the last time that I was around a hospital ER, there was actually a cart that I guess had, I don't know what medication was in there, but it actually had a Medico cam lock on it. So you're looking at a lock roughly this big, but with a Medico key system and pins, with those tolerances and everything, which are very pick resistant. So they are out there, but unfortunately, to put a Medico lock on Granny's medicine cabinet, this lock's going to cost as much, if not more, than the medicine does for a month. Hey, Pickbeard, glad you could join us all the way from your side of the pond. Just kind of rambling today. I've done a little bit of picking, not much. But anyway, to finish up with that, yes, criminals do pick locks. Thieves breaking into people's houses, not so much. A rock to the window, a good shove with a solid shoulder in the right place on the door. Yeah, that's what you're gonna see. Not a problem, Pickbeard. It must be, let's see, almost 5 o'clock here, so it must be almost 10 o'clock there, p.m. Anyway, so I'm wrapping up with that. I had one other thing I was going to talk about. I can't remember what it is. I'll say something else about, since I've kind of wrapped up on the whole do criminals pick locks type thing. Let's see, swindler, maybe if there's a secure lock on a medicine cabinet, then an addict will smash their way in. Yeah, swindler, I mean, that's, that's a possibility. I hate to say it, but people who are addicted to opiates, pain pills, they go through all kinds of, they'll do almost anything to get their fix. That addiction is a very, very strong addiction, and it's very hard for people to overcome, and it takes years and lots of intervention for them to overcome it. And I've personally seen both, in my personal life and in my professional life, the lengths and means that people addicted to opiates will go to in order to get them. And it's not a pretty picture. But a good gauge steel cabinet, when I get moved, I'll finally show you guys the little filing cabinet that I keep off to the side over here. And it is laughable because it has a simple wafer core on the lock, but the gauge is actually like really heavy gauge steel. But anyway, all right, so to shift topics here, let's see, rune, yes, sure sign of entry. Let's see, Pickbeard, Lowe and Fletcher lever locks for one. Okay. Hospital medicine cabinets in the UK have quite good security. Yeah, and medicine cabinets that are in hospital settings here in the US, they do have good security. And a lot of them these days are electronic as well as physical. So you have to have a physical key plus the audit, entry, for identifying exactly who is using their keys. And I'm sure systems like the Click system by Assa Abloy, which can go in Medico, Multilock, Yale, some of those higher security cylinders, that also has an electronic physical block to the physical lock. It's a very cool system. I'd love to get my hands on like a demo model for it. But anyway, all right, guys. So I've been rambling for 42 minutes now. The other thing that I want to touch on, Jason touched on it in his video earlier today, is about the whole YouTube streaming thing. I said some stuff about it earlier. The app that I've found, I will go in the comments later and post the name for it. I would imagine that it's available for Android, but I'm an iPhone exclusive type of guy. So that way, those of you who are like me and don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, you can still live stream using this. I don't know how to change the title because it says live stream Chameleon Live for iPhone. I don't know how to change that before you start the video, but of course I can go in later and I will edit it. And I'll leave the actual name for this particular app, which is a free one to use. Let's see, Pickbeard. Yes, another iOS user. Yes, great. I hate Android. I can't use it. Jean-Marie, I like your intervention, but somebody tell me you can do that in French. Let's see, intervention. Jean-Marie Quillin, are you talking about intervention for what I was talking about as far as securing medications, the actual lock part of it, this whole video, or the intervention for the live, actually doing the live video? Let me know. Let's see. Lockpicking Scout, thank you for tuning in to the live stream Saturday. I love doing live videos. I really do. Rune, when I get back into recording, I will make a few about the click. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Rune. I've been really interested about that. I've read about it and read about the way that it works, and I would really, really like to have it on a few locations that I deal with. I think it would be awesome. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. I've been up and going since 4 a.m. my time today. Swindler, thank you for tuning in. Lockpickings gal, yeah, I can't Android either. Lockpania, thank you for the long rent, my friend. I'm the other way, I can't find out. iOS, yeah, I know if you grow up with, either Android or iOS, you sort of stick to either one of them. Let's see, lockpicking Belfast. Lock snapping was pretty common here for a while, and turning the key in a mortise lock from the outside, but not so often now. Yeah, lock snapping is obviously not really an issue here in the U.S. because we don't have the we don't have the profile cylinders on our exterior doors of our residences. So lock snapping here really isn't that big of a deal. But I do know there are some tools out there that can be used to basically physically break, go into the keyway of like a Kwikset or a Schlage, and then leverage applied to them, and they physically break the brass pins inside of there. And brass is kind of soft, so if you can put enough torque on it, eventually you'll be able to shear it. But I don't know how often that might be used. Pickbeard, I started a whole conversation based on something that was on the lockpicking subreddit about criminals picking locks to break in to residences. Let's see. Lockmania. Yeah, I had a Nokia and then a Motorola Flip. But anyway, to try to wrap this up, by the way, Lockmania, you could probably use that Nokia to break into a couple of these master locks, Anyway, to sort of wind this video down, I will leave a link to the app that I'm using to stream this for the rest of you guys out there who may want to stream a live video in the future, but you don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. I've never, since the very first video, never had a goal on number of subscribers. I was surprised as could be when I had 10 subscribers on this channel, and now I've gotten over 571, I believe, as of this afternoon. And a lot of those are because, because of you guys. Y'all are getting people to subscribe and getting people to come over and watch. And I really, really appreciate that. Thank you all so much. Anyway, again, hopefully when I get moved, it'll be after the 1st of May. I don't know if I'll be able to do any videos between now and then. I know how I'm going to give the shop tour, though. I already have that planned out. So, anyway, just keep in touch. I'll try to watch as much of y'all's videos as I can, like always. Also, I'm over on Twitter quite a bit because that's easier to... it's kind of easier for me to access when I'm working. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a good way to get a hold of me if you don't see me on YouTube for a while, and I normally interact over there. But anyway, I'm gonna wind this up because I'm worn out. Been going for 13 hours now. So everybody, enjoy their weekend. Please stay safe out there. Don't do anything that would wind up in the news. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go over there and look at the news, the link to the news story that I posted first thing this morning. It wasn't Florida Man, surprisingly. It was not Florida Man this time. Anyway, go check it out. Everybody, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for sticking with me. And I don't know when the next time I'll be on camera will be, but I will see you then. Until then, happy picking, and we'll see you later.